In every man's life, there will be this season of fatness, and there will be this season of lean cows. What do they mean? Write this down. According to the vision or the dream of Pharaoh and the interpretation of Joseph, the 7 years of plenty represents seasons of ease, seasons of abundance, and seasons of opportunities. The 7 years of the fat cows, the 7 years of the 7 years of fat corn and the flourishing plants represent 7 years of ease, E-A-S-E, years of abundance and years of opportunities. Please, if you're writing, underline the word opportunity. 7 years of fat cows represent years of opportunity. What opportunity? Opportunity to know God, opportunity to maximize destiny, opportunity to invest in your life. And then the 7 years of famine represent moments of constraint, moments of inconvenience, moments of scarcity. The 7 years of famine represent moments of constraint, moments of inconvenience, moments of scarcity. For various reasons. For instance, let's use biological age. How many of you agree that by the time a man is 60 or 70 years, prepared or not, seasons would have changed? The strength that you have when you were 10, 20, 30 may not be there again. You may not have that kind of energy again. Seasons have changed. And if you are a worker in this country, maybe a federal government worker, a civil servant, prepared or not, there's something called retirement. Is that true? The meaning of that is that you may not have the opportunity to go to work and collect a regular salary again. The reason why pension works is because it's part of obedience to the advice of Joseph. Is that true? That from your 7 years of work, something is kept so that by the time you retire, it will be given to you again. We're coming there. So by the time a young man in ministry who is probably in his 30s or 40s is now living in the season of a man who is 70, 80 years, a man who may not have the energy to run around, and the young man too is doing man of God, big man, you know what you are doing? You are already destroying the opportunity that you have for the seasons that are coming. Let me tell you this. There are many people, I watched an obituary. There is a course in the School of Ministry under personal transformation. I teach the students on something called the graph of life. It's an attempt to give the students wisdom to help them understand the brevity of life to the end that they live efficient and effective lives. Are we together? And this came as a result of an obituary I saw. Please look up. In this obituary, it was a 2 or 3 minutes TV program, and this is what I saw. I saw a man who was in his late 80s, now had died, and they were announcing, but for some reason they were able to gather his photos. I don't know how they found it. Photos when he was a young boy to a teenager, a young adult, an adult in his middle age, becoming elderly, an old man, together with his grandchildren, and then a few moments on the sickbed before he died. They ran that slide within 2 minutes, and I saw a man's entire destiny run on a slide within 2 minutes. When I watched that, it had an impact on my life. And that's where the scriptures so teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. And I made up my mind that I was going to build a course out of that experience to teach the School of Ministry students. that as long as life looks, it is deceptively brief. There is a hymn that says life at best is very brief, like the falling of a leaf. Hallelujah. Are we learning something tonight? Please do not take anything I'm teaching tonight personal. It is truth that I will give you. I have seen people in old age today with nobody to help them. They walk alone as though they never had the privilege of youthfulness. And the question I'm tempted to ask is, what did they do with those days? Because at that time the lean cows have come to eat up the fat ones. I told you, years can eat years. There are people today who retired as directors, CEOs, and yet they may not be able to raise 100,000 with honor, because during their time of glory they did not know that seasons change. There are musicians today, respectfully speaking, there are sportsmen today, once upon a time if you mention their names people will stay awake, but today they can move around on the road and you see them and not even care about them. Why? Because seasons have changed. Is that true? Yes. Once upon a time in this nation, when you mention certain names, once upon a time in Africa, when you mention certain names, as powerful as these great men are, look at men like Reinhard Bonnke, look at men like T.L. Osborne, look at men like Billy Graham. As much as we love them, the truth is, whether we like it or not, according to the law of seasons, eventually they have gone. Seasons. That means everybody who finds himself on the stage, you better realize someone left there before you got there, and realize that very soon the light of destiny is pushing you out. Now listen, there is the deception that comes with these seasons of glory. It makes you believe you will never leave the stage for any reason. This has deceived men of God. This has deceived people in politics. This has also deceived parents. They forgot that these children will one day grow and they will be young, and they treated the children in an evil way. Many of them today are old and wrinkled and left alone by angry adults who were once babies. There are nations today who did not take advantage of their human capital to invest in the young people during the seasons of power. Most of those young people are now the thieves that cause mayhem in society. There are people who rose in honor. They never raised anybody in their lifetime. They didn't raise anybody from their community. They are the only ones, and when the devil attacked them, he got them alone because they had no support system. Learn the wisdom that comes from this mystery tonight. Pharaoh, the dream is twice because it is established. There is nothing you can do against it. You can only build a system to overcome it. Hallelujah. Yes, sir. It is a dangerous thing to once be relevant. It is a dangerous thing that in your lifetime you are still alive, and yet your life becomes a warning, not a message. They tell people, if you want to go far, please don't use this reference. You are still alive and breathing.